Okay, not really the kind of video I wanted to be making today, but yeah, it's not always rainbows and sunshines and butterflies. Sometimes bad things happen, and I think it's important to take you guys along the bad things as well. So where shall we start? So the most obvious thing is of course the water, the cloudiness. It's pretty bad, you can barely see the fish. That's only a small issue compared to what's really going on with the big shallow. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, let me explain the cloudiness first. I recently got some new products from Aquario. They call this the Neo Bag. And right here I have the Neo Bag Plus, which is supposed to adsorb positive ions such as calcium and magnesium to make the water soft and also lower the pH, which is something I really wanted to achieve in the big shallow. So I thought, okay, perfect, let's try this out. So I added these to my external canister filter together with a Neo Bag Carbon, which is just like activated carbon like we already know. So I added that, and a few days after that the water started to become a little bit cloudy. So I'm not sure if it has to do with these media bags, but it just started to become a little bit cloudy. So I thought, you know what, let me just fix that with some Seachem Clarity. So this is a water clarifier for marine and fresh water. So I added the recommended dose into the big shallow, and after that it just got a lot worse. And it says here on the back of the bottle, you know, in some situations the cloudiness may increase after adding clarity. However, this is normal and is a sign that clarity is actively working. Rapid clarification will follow after 1 or 2 hours. Well, it's been 24 hours and it's still exactly the same. So now I'm sure some people are watching and thinking like, yo, what's the big deal? Just do a large water change and get rid of the cloudiness. The thing is, however, that I've recently started adjusting the fish in here to reverse osmosis water. And I only have a very small RO filter, and it takes a very long time to prepare RO water. So I can only do like water changes of 20 liters each time. So this is, I mean, 160, 180 liters, something like that. So to fill up this entire aquarium with RO water is going to take me probably like 3 days, something like that. So I'm currently making some RO water. I'm going to do a water change soon. But again, it's not really a huge issue. It also doesn't seem to bother the fish, so I'm sure it will disappear by itself in a few days, hopefully. The main issue with the big shallow, and the main reason I wanted to make this video, is because of the cabinet. You might not be able to see it from there, but the cabinet of the big shallow is starting to cave in the center. So the first time I noticed it was a few days ago when I tried to open this door. And I noticed that the top of the door was scratching the top plate of the cabinet. Just like that, you know? But I didn't really think much of it, so I kind of just went on with my day. But then yesterday I was looking at the tank, and I was looking at the foam mat. If you get really up close, you can see that there's a foam mat between the top of the cabinet and the bottom panel of the tank. And right now it's about 0.5 centimeter, something like that. If you get here to the edge, you can see that the foam mat is completely compressed. And it's actually the same on this side. Not as bad, but still pretty bad. So it's probably very hard to see on camera, but you can just kind of see that the top plate of the cabinet just has a slight curve to it. And that's really scaring me. It's especially scary because I'm actually leaving the country for a few days, starting tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going away tomorrow. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be in the UK for my workshop at Horizon Aquatics. So I will not be home to keep an eye on this aquarium. And that's kind of scaring me a little bit. You know, if I would be home, I could just see if things are getting worse. And if the cabinet is starting to cave in even more, you know, I can take precautions and drain the tank or, you know, do whatever. But yeah, I don't really have time to do anything about it right now. So I think I just have to keep our fingers crossed and just pray that nothing is going to happen to this tank. I'm also not sure if it's even possible for this cabinet to cave in even more, because we do have 2 panels in the center. So they still provide some support, you know, but somehow it's just not enough for this top panel to keep completely level. But yeah, just the thought of, you know, that both edges currently have increased pressure because of the slight curve, that just kind of, yeah, really scares the crap out of me. Now, I think the main reason why this happened is because of the floor in our apartment. First of all, it's already at an angle, so if you place a ball on that side, it's going to start rolling to that side. It's that bad. Also, we have a wooden floor, and underneath the wooden floor there is like a soft squishy material. This is a rental place. It was already like that when we moved in, and we just didn't do anything about it ourselves. So it was already very hard to make sure that the cabinet is completely level, you know. But yeah, I think because of that soft material underneath the wood as well, it's just very bouncy, and the weight of the tank is just not being distributed properly. And I guess that's what's causing these issues. But yeah, like I said, I'm going on a trip, so I don't really have time to do anything about it right now. I mean, of course, I could drain the tank right now and just put the fish somewhere else, but I also don't really have space to put all this fish somewhere else. So yeah, maybe after I come back from my trip, I'm gonna do something about it. And in the meantime, just keep my fingers crossed, hoping that it will be okay. Okay, that's our water change done. As you can see, it didn't really do much for the cloudiness. But I wanted to show you guys, I actually recently made some adjustments to the shallow. I actually installed my CO2 reactor again. I wanted to start using CO2 in the shallow, not so much for the plants, but more for the fish, to lower the pH even more. Recently bought some checkerboard cichlids and they really like a very low pH. Yeah, I guess those plans are on hold. By the way, I still very much like the Amazon canister filter. It's just nice to kind of quickly pause it with the remote, you know. Just right now doing a water change, quick pause, and then just put it back on. Now guys, before I forget, this Cape Heart t-shirt is available from mosscotton.com. They got loads of really cool designs. So if you want to buy some new t-shirts, use my code MJAqua10 at the checkout. Gives you a nice discount and it's also a fun way to support the channel. Now while I'm making a video, I might as well give you guys an update on the Twinscape experiment as well. So I think it's been roughly 2.5 weeks since we set up 2 tanks, just exactly the same, but one with the Twinstar sterilizer and one without. So let's take a closer look. So here is the current situation in the aquarium with the sterilizer. And here's the current situation in the aquarium without the sterilizer. So as you can see, they both look pretty much identical. This one, however, has a little bit of brown algae on the background over there. There's a little bit of brown algae on the side as well. A little bit of algae on the glass here, might be hard to see. Yeah, you can see on the left side panel here that there's a little bit of algae on the glass. The sterilizer is supposed to work very well against green algae, but there's currently actually quite a lot of green algae on the wood. You can see over there. You can see over there as well. And it actually seems like there's more green algae on this side comparing to on this side. I mean, there's a little bit of green algae on the wood here as well, but it seems to be that there's more brown algae here. Yeah, so from what I can see so far, the aquarium without the sterilizer has some brown algae, and this one doesn't have any brown algae. And the aquarium without the sterilizer also has more algae on the glass. This one barely has any algae on the glass. But the aquarium with sterilizer has more green algae attached to the wood over there. So that is currently my only observation basically. But I do have to say that the plant growth in both tanks is really, really good. I mean, 2.5 weeks, the Glossostigma is growing like crazy. The Alternatera Rhyneiki is growing like crazy, turning super red. And just all the plants are doing really well. So the Aquasoil and the Pond Compost is really a very good substrate. And lastly, just an update on the Betta. I have him for about 3 weeks now. And he's doing really good. I'm really enjoying him. I've recently added a few shrimp as well, just to kind of keep him company and just so he has something to hunt. He's not able to catch them because they're way too fast for him, but at least they keep him entertained and they keep him busy, you know. I have noticed, however, that it's a lot harder to keep an aquarium algae-free when you are using a heater. So because he's a Betta, I'm using a heater. Heater is set to 26 degrees Celsius. And I definitely noticed that it's a bit harder to keep the aquarium algae-free, you know? But besides that, I'm really happy with how this aquarium is developing. The Rotala is finally growing as well, finally giving a little bit of red, or a small red touch in this aquarium. And everything is just doing good. But that's it for now. If you guys have any suggestions on what I should do with the big shallow and the cabinet, definitely let me know in the comments. In the meantime, keep your fingers crossed for me, please. And let's pray that the aquarium will stay here in one piece. That's it. Don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.